Hello, dear ones. I'm just completely looking for the vow, the spiritually fierce vow, because I want to talk to you about it today. I'm very excited about sharing this with you, but I really want to take the chance to jump in as well and respond to Tamsin's question about what to do with anger, because, you know, in the video that she references, I was talking about really talking about how we have choice when we understand the law of vibration as to how to respond to the emotional states that we're experiencing. So we don't have to passively receive them. We can actually make choices. But there were some beautiful responses to to the question, but I really wanted to pick up on it a little bit and give you my own personal take on it. And I also wanted to share with you, because I've been meaning to do this for ages. Sorry, my giant dog wants to go outside. Of course, because we started a Facebook Live. Wouldn't that be the perfect time? Okay, I'll just let him out. I'm coming straight back. All right, let's go. Come on, you. Out. Okay, I'm right back. It wouldn't be a Facebook Live if Rufus didn't want to go out at that very moment. So, what I understand to be true is that your emotions, good or bad, but particularly the heavy fear-based emotions, of which anger is one, are messengers. So as someone beautifully sort of articulated in a response to Tamsin, if we are not looking at the meaning of that emotion, then we are missing an opportunity to get to know ourselves better and to understand what is motivating us. Now, remember that 90 to 95% of your emotions are coming up not from the reasoning conscious mind, but from the subconscious mind. And what that means is, we don't necessarily know unless we take some time and use practices of intuitive intelligence to actually go deeply into those emotions to discover the truth of what we're feeling. As A Course in Miracles states, we're never upset for the reason that we think we are. A superficial trigger is rarely the cause of our suffering, and until we actually take some time to meet that emotion face on and say, okay, let's do this, we're not going to be able to transmute it. Now, it's really important to understand that it is not enough just to meet it and get intimate with it. That's self-awareness. Self-awareness without transmuting the emotion is just sitting in a pile of your own shit, really. It's talking therapy. It has its place, but it doesn't go far enough. Not if you're in this group anyway, where to be spiritually fierce is to actually go beyond meeting the emotion and understanding its message to then choosing a different response. That's where we start to get into the law of vibration. We're not passively receiving our lives. We are creating our lives. There are no watchers in the quantum field. Your unmet emotions in your subconscious basement are what are programming the infinite intelligence of which you are a part. So yes, Tamsin, we do not want unmet anger. We want to go and look at that anger, find out what it's showing us about ourselves, and take our lives in another direction. So we find out through practices that are going to intimately connect you to that subconscious mind. And one of those practices is a practice I can share with you in another video that I've already recorded, to go into the subconscious basement and to see which of the shadow archetypes is showing up for you. There are 4 shadow archetypes that exist there, and there will be one in particular that is behind your anger. They include the prostitute, where we've traded on our faith. So we're actually doing something we don't want to be doing, whether we're in a relationship we don't want to be in, or we're in a job we don't like, in exchange for physical security, because we don't actually trust the infinite. The others are the child, where we abdicate responsibility for our life. We just keep giving our power away. The victim, not too difficult to understand how that works, where everything is everybody else's fault. And then the saboteur, or the mean girl, or the inner critic, where no matter what you try to do, you'll tell yourself you're not good enough, not young enough, not pretty enough. So getting intimate with our fear by going through these kinds of practices and actually looking for the meaning. Okay, is there, for example, say it's the prostitute that I meet in the basement. Is there somewhere in my life that I'm not being authentic because I'm scared that I will be homeless or alone or end up, you know, dying a terrible death, like, you know, all of the worst case scenarios that we have in our mind about what it is that we're actually afraid of versus what's triggering our fear. So we might be triggered by a colleague at work who seems to always take the glory for themselves, that never gives us enough credit, that always brown noses the boss. There's someone who's always trying to get us in trouble. And we think that the problem is our colleague. The problem isn't our colleague. The problem is that we're in a job that we hate and we don't have the faith to go out and start our own business, for example, even though we've been getting that push from the infinite that that's the next best step. So the anger comes up because where we are in our lives is out of congruence with where our soul is trying to take us, and that's the cause of the anger. You can apply that to many, many different scenarios. So the anger is a messenger. The anger is simply showing up to show us that we are denying what our soul wants for us. Okay, I hope that answers your question or gives you some way, you know, forward on the path of how do we deal with these lower vibrational states. What do we do with that then when we know more about ourselves? Exactly as Jess said, we go into heart coherence and we take ourselves out of that anger state and we choose a different vibration. We go into one of the higher vibrational states. What are those high vibrational states? Appreciation, gratitude, compassion, care. These emotions are able to be generated at will. And when we do that, we're able to understand that our lives are not, you know, something that we are a victim of, but that we are creating all of the time. Okay, so what I want to do before I go do school pickup is make the spiritually fierce vow with you, if I can find it on my computer, which I hope I can, and then we're going to say it together if you like, if you're ready to take that vow. I'll be doing this again at another time in the next few days on my own Rikki Jane Adams Facebook page as well. But let's just have a little look here, because this is a really good commitment to make every single freaking day of your life. And I've written it at the introduction to the book because it's a really great practice. And it's another way that we can go and look at those heavier emotions with a willingness. Okay, you ready? If you want to say it after me, please do, now or later. I vow this day to meet my fear. I vow to remember that I am unlimited even when I feel separate and finite. I commit to live with power and humility, strength and vulnerability, grace and grit, and to know that these qualities are the qualities of the infinite, of which I am a divine piece. I vow to live beyond the trinkets and superstitions of the new age. I vow to remember that spiritually fierce is not just a phrase. Spiritually fierce is a movement of awakening consciousness, of which I am a vital part. I give my life to the infinite within me above all else. I surrender all that is not of this truth. I vow to live with the inner discipline, the soul fire that inspires me to choose love first every single time. Okay, that is the spiritually fierce vow, and I think that's something that we should do all the time, as often as we remember, and it is in the front of the book, and I'm going to share it in the group as well, because I feel like it's, you know, it's our personal mission statement as a group. Have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I've been filming videos all morning with the beautiful Beck Much from Path Hunting for Intuitive Intelligence Online. So I've been talking and felt like I could do a bit more, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye.